Hey guys, what's up? I just watched a movie, and if you can figure out from the song, you should figure out what movie I just watched. This is also for music theater nerds. This is totally, if I was worried about demonetization, I'd be concerned. But unfortunately, I'm not. So, anyway, click subscribe and join me on this journey while I review Heart of Stone, which is a song in the musical Six. And it's also now a movie starring Gal Gadot and Jamie Dornan. And it's one of those Netflix action movies that now exists. And it has audio description, which is great because I'm a blind film critic and I review films with audio description. And it's a spy movie. It has this really cool sort of like opening credit sequence that was very Bond-ish. And it made me have a lot of hope for this film. It really did. I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be a female Bond film. There we go. Okay, that sufficed. My Heart of Stone. That was totally worth the payoff. Alexa, stop. So, we'll see what happens if that gets me demonetized. But I thought that was fun. It's such a generic title. But then again, I was thinking a lot of Bond films kind of have generic title. I mean, is For Your Eyes Only really that revolutionary of a title? I don't think so. So, some of them are kind of cute and quirky, like From What Russia With Love, I mean, that's special. But do we have ourselves a franchise on hand here? Well, no. I was kind of hoping we would. Unfortunately, this film gets far too invested in its own plot and its own sort of universe. It's one of these films where there's like an AI technology. We're all doing this now. Oh my god, AI is now the villain of every single film. We don't need to cast humans anymore. We'll just have a box that's AI that somebody has to get to. So, Gadot plays Stone, who, I know, shocking. She either plays somebody named Hart or Stone. You can basically guess from the title. And she's a double agent. She works for the MI6, but she also works for this super secret organization. It doesn't really matter what the name of that is. It doesn't anything. We've seen this organization exist in movies before. Amazon has a TV series about it called Citadel. It's just this is not an original. I'm sitting here watching this movie going, okay, well, we've got a collection of ideas that are not unique to this film. We're not off to a great start here. So, and that opening sequence was pretty cool. I mean, it does blandness really well. It really excelled in its mediocrity. And I know that sounds really like I'm dragging the film here, but I'm really not. For what it is, when you look at it at face value, there's really nothing here that hasn't been done before, but it does actually do a pretty good job of doing it. And it makes it sort of exciting in a package and keeps the flow going, especially considering I looked this up and I was like, have I seen anything this director's done? And I actually haven't. And I looked all the way back through and I was like, oh, The Woman in Black too? I mean, I feel like this is a film that was a hop, skip, and a jump away from actually being able to battle it out in theaters, which some of Netflix's stuff falls really short for me. It feels like it's some sort of fake version of a blockbuster where it looks like a blockbuster and it's not a blockbuster. it's missing something. It's like soulless. This actually seemed to really address a lot of the problems, um, just by putting the focus on Gal Gadot and giving us that hope that maybe finally we'd have like a female Bond, a franchise of films based around a female spy, which we talk about a lot but never actually execute. I remember when people just wanted a Colombiana sequel. They're like, can we at least just get a sequel to Colombiana? No, we can't. Okay, well, damn. Like anything. People are craving something. Jinx was supposed to get her own spin-off out of Die Another Day. It's an area that, everybody's like, what do we do in Indiana Jones? Do we put a new actor in Indiana Jones? I don't know, dude. We just create another one. Like, this is not hard. We should have had like a female equivalent to Bond by now, like across that just keeps changing and being played by new women. This is not a hard concept. Just copy it and make it female. She doesn't need to be Bond. She can just go on her own missions that are unique to her in her own universe, with her own things and her own stories and her own people. And it has potential to be better. I mean, it's not all these Bond films have been amazing. And it has potential to be worse. This is one of those things where it's like, if Netflix wanted to make this a franchise, they could. Sort of like that School of Good and Evil thing that we had last year. Sure. I mean, there's room for it. It leaves the door open for a potential sequel at the end if it wants to have a sequel. But that's the problem, is it feels like a sequel. Bond films feel more like we're sending Bond on another mission. And this should have felt more like we're sending Stone on another mission, not like number 2 is coming, that's the problem that I have with it, is it feels more like a film that is plotted not to have sequels in the way that a lot of book characters have these various mysteries or adventures or crimes that they have to investigate. Bosch is another one, right? Bosch just keeps Michael Connelly just keeps writing these Bosch books. So even though he's not a spy, he's able to just keep writing a new story for Bosch, and it doesn't feel like a sequel. It just feels like, okay, well, this is another story with Harry Bosch as the center detective. It doesn't really matter where you pick up in the franchise. It's pretty easy to pick up. There isn't a whole lot of lore for you to have to learn. You can kind of learn who these characters are and who they're meant to be around her. This doesn't do that. This just kind of sets it up as a part 1, so that you're going to get like Heart of Stone 2, Heart of Stone 3, Heart of Stone, and those get exhausting, because then you get to like Heart X, and you're like, well, how did we get to 10 films? What's happening? She's good in it. Gal Gadot, I enjoyed her. I just wish the film had been shifted and geared a little bit slightly different, thinking about the future of where this character could go, instead of, because Netflix has really failed to materialize a franchise like that. That's probably the one thing that they lack, is a serious film franchise that goes to their thing. They're trying with Extraction, but I don't know. I don't think it's working for Extraction. Maybe it is. Maybe for people who love Extraction, maybe that's working for them. I don't think it's smart enough. I don't think it has the plot or anything to really have mass appeal. I think that appeals to the people maybe who like loud action movies, The Expendables or something like that. So this had so much potential, and it's just fine. At the end of the day, there's kind of a lull. There's kind of a point in the film where you feel like, okay, we've built the film's going to end. This is going to be where the film ends. And then it doesn't end. It does one of those where it feels like this is the great climax and we've made it to this point. And then the film is like, nope, we still have another chapter to go. And you're like, God, what the... Is this next chapter going to be really that interesting that you couldn't have ended it there? Like, all natural, tendencies indicate that is where you should have ended the film. But sadly, it's not. So then we get more character building, and a kind of a flip to show the nefarious other side, I guess, of use of AI, like what could happen if AI falls in the wrong hands. And then finally we get, there is good in this world, and we win, yay! Then finally the movie's over, basically. I'm trying to be very vague here because there are plot twists in here that I wasn't surprised by, but other people might be. So I'm trying to honor the fact that you might be surprised by it and just not reveal them. I'm also not talking about somebody a lot because there's nothing I can really say about that character. This is like a walking spoiler. Oh, Sophia Okonedo's in this. That was cute. I enjoyed that. That was fun. I was like, oh, good. She never gets enough work. Poor girl after Hotel Rwanda. She deserves this franchise. What are we doing with Sophie? Can't Sophie have a franchise? Yeah, it's fine. It's a fine franchise. I'm not super thrilled about it either way, one way or the other. So, audio description wise, first of all, it's written by Liz Gutman. So, yeah, I mean, it's almost like she has the Midas touch, because I think probably more so than any other writer, she consistently gets her name on at the end whenever she writes. And I hear her name probably more than I have any other writer of audio description. So, and I don't necessarily know what I'm missing, so it's hard to really criticize on any fact like that. But there are a lot of action sequences in this. This it's one of those films that Netflix spent a lot of money on, just to try to bring viewers in, and is betting that Gal Gadot will be special enough that it'll bring people in. And yeah, she does a great job of navigating through the various many set pieces that are set up, the car chases, the motorcycle chases, the things that happen in the air that are completely improbable. It has that sort of feel to it too, the inspired by Mission Impossible, James Bond, where you have to have a stunt that you feel like would never really happen in real life, but we have to do it. I have no idea how real some of that looked. There was a stunt that I'm like, Tom Cruise would have done that. Really, like, he would have really done that. He would have insisted upon it. He would have been like, we're going to shoot this for real. I don't know if Gal actually did that. I don't know how they did this stunt, but I have a feeling green screen was used. If not for her safety, then just because of the improbability of the sequence. But hey, you know what? If she was flying around up in the air with wings, more power to her. I know she was in the Israeli army. I'm not trying to say that she's scared or anything like that. I know she probably can kick a lot of ass and is not afraid of a stunt. So maybe, but this was such a weird, improbable stunt that's in the middle of the film that feels like, oh, great, this is your wish Tom Cruise was here stunt. Can we hang her off of a building? I don't know. So, it has that in it. It has that moment. And plenty of car chases and explosions. And of course, she's a girl, so at some point she's gonna wear some fabulous dress. You know, just like to be honest, a male spy would be rocking a suit at some point. You know, it's very rare that we find spies who don't have to dress up ever, unless they're trying to do that whole blending into the and not be seen thing that Jason Bourne tries to do. But yeah, Bond has always been being fancy at least some point in the film. So it's nice. It's good audio description. The narrator's voice was fine. Um, I I wasn't enthused. I wasn't more enthused by it. It kind of felt like it was um, a very neutral sort of narrator. It didn't really do anything for me either way, which is, I guess, the argument of what audio description is supposed to be is not influence your vote either way, one way or the other. Um, Except I really truly believe that there are some narrators that can actually make a film better by by making you feel like they're like they are excited themselves about what it is that they're narrating and watching along with you. You know, um, that kind of gets me excited. This is, I think she just was trying that, you know, let's just attack this and just be as neutral as humanly possible while everything around me is exploding, which, I guess. But I've heard it the other way before, and I kind of prefer the other way. I kind of prefer the people who are like, "Oh, yeah," they get really excited about an explosion. They're like, "She's driving, and but the truck explodes." Something. It's. I've had it both, and I prefer the. In an action film, it's more exciting. It feels like you're watching it with somebody. Because so frequently when we don't have audio description, it's like a friend that's trying to tell us something as the movie's going on. So it kind of feels like having a friend there. If it feels like you're watching a movie with somebody instead of like somebody who's just like bored by the film. That's kind of what it feels like when you don't have any inflection. Anyway, I talked a lot about audio description. That was perfectly fine, but those are my thoughts. Heart of Stone is a somewhat generic but well packaged action film put together by Netflix. That, in all things considered, considering some of the things that they put together are not great, this is among their better section of films. This is like up there with maybe like The Old Guard, if you liked that. That would be for me on the higher end of Netflix films. The funny thing is they have films that I like that they don't consider to be, they're not the films that they dropped like $100 million on. Like they had this film with Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I think it was called Kate. I thought that was really well done. And I don't think they spent a lot of money on it, and I don't think they cared about it. And they put that out there, and I loved it more than a lot of the other films. Gunpowder Milkshake is one that people don't talk about a lot, and I think that was pretty entertaining. So they've made more entertaining films. It's just they want you to talk about, The Gray Man. It's like, well, I didn't really like The Gray Man. Why would I talk about it? So it's very weird. Seems like the more they spend on the film, the kind of less likely it is to be good. Anyway, I'm going to give Heart of Stone a B. It was pretty enjoyable. It's kind of predictable. I would actually really love to see this character continue, but I would love to see it with a new director and somebody who can come in and sort of refocus the film to bring her in more as a James Bond and less as a Heart of Stone 2. If I hear the words Heart of Stone 2, I'm going to lose my mind. Just use her name in a different, different turn of phrase. Like, like the I don't know, Stone of Love, or I have no idea. I'm not titling your film for you. Uh, Stone Forever. I have, you pick, but it should feel less like it's coming straight off of this one, with everybody picking up. I don't really care about the peripheral characters. They need to go into their little places, just like the Qs and the Ms of the world, and the Miss Moneypennies. And I just need Gal Gadot to do her thing, and to uncover a ring with her support team behind her. That's it. I think that's a good film, and I think there's potential here. So that's why I'm rooting for this. I saw it. There's a glimmer of potential in this franchise. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I will. I'll do more reviews for you. I have a website, macmoovieguy.com. I have no idea what I was going to say there. And I also have Twitter, Instagram, and Threads, all at Mac the Movie Guy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acp.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. It'll let you know more about Liz Gutman. I can't even imagine what her resume looks like. It's got to be massive. So, yeah, look her up. And that's it. I'm off to watch other things and review them for you guys, and talk about audio description. That's why we're all here. And I will see you guys on the other side.